Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. I don't think there's anybody in the planet that would say, I don't want to be healthy. I don't want to feel good. I don't want to have vitality. I don't want to have clarity. I don't think anybody would say that. And we know that there are steps that we need to take to achieve that. However, sometimes it's not the easiest thing going it alone. It's nice to have a gym partner. It's nice to have somebody maybe support you in terms of your weight goals, but that isn't all of it. Might want to consider a coach, a health coach. I found one for you. And she really specializes in lifestyle modifications that address some unique wellness concerns, particularly the concerns of retired military women and their families. And she works with a lot of them. She's actually a member of the military herself. She is Coach Lorraine, and she's back with us. Hey, Lorraine, how are you?
I'm doing great, Steve. And how are you?
Terrific. You're doing better than me because you're in Jamaica at this point.
Yes, looking after Mom. Her wedding anniversary is coming up, and I didn't want her to be by herself.
Aw. I envy your heritage. I love that country. I truly do. All the people, everyone. Tell your mom I give her my best to her.
Thank you. And let me correct you on one thing.
Please do.
I'm a prior member of the military. I'm now officially a veteran.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I was aware of that, but in my mind, when somebody has been involved in the military, it's for life.
I got you.
Yeah. So, as a health coach, you work on many different levels, and for anybody that's never had a coach in general, you have to think about all the sports athletes. Business people all have coaches. I'm talking about the successful ones that have reached their goals. As a health coach, let's go over some of the different categories that you work with, and let's see if we can, put the microscope on each of those.
Yes, Steve. So as a health coach, some of the number of things that we look at is basically healthy weight loss, and basically get healthy to lose weight as opposed to focusing on weight itself. Because generally, if you are heavier than you should be, there's probably something going on, some root cause that you need to look into to help correct that situation. So sometimes being heavier than you intended to be is not necessarily your fault.
And is that? Are we talking about hereditary factors? What would attribute that?
It could be hereditary factors is one thing that you're unaware of. There could be some other metabolic condition that's happening that causes the weight to pack on. You may have non-alcoholic fatty disease and be unaware of it until it presents itself in the worst way. And because you may have been consuming too much carbs than your body can manage, because we all have different thresholds in dealing with certain things. So those are some of the things, the root cause of what could be impacting you. And yes, your genes does play a factor.
Interesting. Okay, so and that's not a permission slip to just eat whatever you want.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
So as we focus on the weight loss aspect, or maybe not even weight loss, but weight management, I guess maybe that's a better way to put it.
Yes. I mean, look, weight management. The thing of it is doing the research, having the right people in your life, your medical professional, a health coach, to explore what is really going on with you, to go deeper than just on the surface. Oh, so you're fat. So let me put you on the treadmill, and you need to cut your food by 50%. That's not really exploring what's going on with you. Going to probably a functional medicine doctor, and they typically look at root cause. They do the appropriate blood tests, look at your lifestyle. They look at everything to see what's impacting you so that they can address the specifics of your condition as opposed to generalizing what may be happening.
Even before you said functional medicine doctor, I was thinking it and was going to bring it up. And it's like you read my mind. And I even had a conversation with a friend late last night, talking about just this and what the functions of a functional medicine doctor specifically are. I even Googled it. I wasn't even sure that they could write scripts if needed, and it seems that they can. Um, do you feel that it would be impactful to even start with a functional medicine doctor before you get a coach?
I mean, yes and no, because sometimes you may find a coach that basically has a relationship with a functional medicine doctor that will be appropriate for you. So whatever's within your reach, it could go either way.
Gotcha. Okay. So while we're centering on the weight management, what are some things that you can help somebody with as a coach?
Well, one of the first things I think people should explore is cutting out as many processed foods from their diet as they possibly can. That's something I think we all can do. Go through our refrigerators, go through our cabinets, and eliminate as many processed foods as you can, and focus on whole food health. So that's one of the basic directions to kind of set us off on the right direction.
Gotcha. And we've talked about that before, the importance of the right kind of food, organic food, and how horribly processed our food supply is now.
Yeah. I mean, you have to think, if we're processing the food, by the time we eat the processed food, your body, for millions of years, for thousands of years, has no idea where this food came from. It's like, where did you make this stuff? So your body is taxed with trying to find a way to process it out or make it useful for your bodies. And sometimes that's what also packs on the weight, because things are just kind of sitting in your system, going around. Your fat stores sometimes created to keep or to take toxins out of your system to store it away from metabolic processes that your body goes through. So it stores it in these fat cells, like I said, to keep it out of circulation. And then that's why when a number of people do start losing weight and they start getting sick for one reason or the other, it could possibly be because the toxins are being released and need to be pushed out. And then there's ways, of course, to mitigate that, to kind of move that process along. But that's for another talk.
I want to pick your brain on the food supply one more time. Mm-hmm. Our bodies have evolutionary been prepared to process just real good food. Go back hundreds of years. There wasn't all the garbage, pesticides in there. And somebody told me recently that back in the 90s, there were, I don't know the exact number, but, call it, 200 pesticides. Now there's like 30,000. It's insane. Are our bodies just revolting in some ways? Just they don't even know. Our bodies don't even know how to handle all this garbage that we're putting in. That's my first question. My second question is our food supply so much more tainted, if you will, than we even ever imagined?
Funny you should say that. So recently I was doing reading a paper where there's a couple of doctors. They will go to Europe and eat almost anything. But when they're here, back home in the States, they stay away from anything made from wheat in this country because of how it's processed to be resistant to insects. Adding in these pesticides into our food chain, basically we are ingesting the products from these pesticides that builds resistance against insects, and ultimately could be building up in our bodies. So that resistance kind of goes against itself, because now our body needs to get rid of it also. It says in small amounts, your body can get rid of it, but as we pile it on in and out, day after day, having that bagel for breakfast or the French toast or even the cereal, all made from wheat that was possibly laden with pesticides, and now it's just building and building and building.
Ugh. And it's deflating for those of us that want or think we're eating healthy, because marketing wise, we see made with 100% whole grain, and you think, well, it's good for me. Oh yeah, but it's not. it's far from.
Right. Yeah, it's all relative. It's not that grain within itself is not good for you, but where is it coming from? What has it been through? How much grain have you consumed over the course of the past week? So everything has to be done in moderation. Your body is one of the ultimate machines there is and can handle a number of things. But if you put too much into it, it can and will break.
Mm. Would you say that grains are probably one of the most, and I use this word loosely, but I think you know where I'm going with it, one of the most polluted things that we could be eating?
I would say so. Grains
Mm.
have been shown to cause inflammation in the body,
Mm-hmm.
and that ultimately that's one of the things we want to manage is inflammation. Some amount of inflammation is good, but when there is chronic inflammation, and in particular, like you said, in terms of consuming grains, then you're just going down the hill fast. It's just not good.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. We're just a plethora of positive information today. But it is what it is. We need to be aware. And I would imagine when somebody works with you, you can accompany them virtually or figuratively in the supermarket so they can make the right choices.
Yes, that can definitely be done. Like I said, it starts in the home, and once
Sure.
you clear out the things that you should be avoiding or minimalizing, then you can start stocking up with the great things that a health coach can provide you with a possible list. I mean, the ideal health coach will sit with you and look at your preferences and not just give you a list that they've had stored on their computer or in their files. So it's ideal to identify what does your diet look like ethnically, your cultural preferences and things of that nature. What are you accustomed to, and really working with you as an individual to kind of identify those things.
Awesome. So let's move on to another category dealing with the benefits of a health coach. Which one you want to tackle?
Right. So one of the things is the whole idea of prioritizing protein. Prioritizing protein is something we can do for our health, in particularly as we age. Most individuals, as they age, you'll see that they have the muscle loss and things of that nature. It's mainly because they're not eating enough protein, and we eat less protein mainly for a number of reasons. Sometimes it's because of financial. So we think if we buy more bread, rice, potatoes, and vegetables, that's going to do it for us. But if it's not protein, you're not building your muscle. And without the amino acids that you get from protein, then the ingredients or the nutrients needed to build muscle is not going to be there. So you have to look at, if you're a meat eater, then it's easy. You'll get the 20 amino acids you need for building your muscles. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, then you may need to supplement. But protein is extremely important. And with that, once you have the ingredients to build muscle, you now have to start doing some amount of strength training or resistance training so that it strengthens your bones and maintains your muscle. It's research. You can Google it from almost anywhere, pretty much, how important that your muscle is your marker for your longevity. And maintaining muscle and bone density is extremely important.
Interesting. When we talk about that muscle strength, is it essentially just working out, continually working on yourself to maintain that strength?
Well, muscle strength within itself, you should need to do strength training or resistance training. You need to have something that helps to break down muscles to help rebuild it, because our cells basically are going to hang out in our body until it finds where it dies off, because we're continually renewing our bodies. There's not a cell in your body today that was with you when you were born. So there's a continued growth and replenishment. So if you don't challenge your muscles and make it feel like it's needed, then it won't build on the foundation which you've already laid. So strength training, continuing to, whether it be resistance bands, lifting weights, lifting buckets of anything that's heavy, routinely lifting heavy things benefits your muscle strength and your bone density. And whatever works. Some people just do burpees or a series of exercises that helps with that. All depends on what you're trying to achieve. One of the things I'm looking forward to doing is actually doing some pull-ups. That's one of a project I'm going to work on for myself because it's very, very beneficial because you can use your own weight to help build your strength.
Well, good luck with that. I can honestly
military background. I got this.
Yeah, well, I can honestly tell you that's my weak point. That and my legs. And here's the aha moment for me. And I got to get back into all of this. I was really in fantastic shape about 2 years ago and derailed. But to my surprise, Lorraine, I used to jog back in the day. And, I always thought, and my legs look pretty good. I thought, no problem. Get back to the gym, doing squats and all of that. I got that. No, let me tell you, that's another weak point in my body. I always thought that my legs look muscular. No, they don't have the strength, even half of the strength that I thought. And I didn't realize that until I really dug into it, doing squats, doing deep knee bends and all exercise and even everything on machines. A big surprise for me. So what we think sometimes is not really the reality.
Very true. Very true. The objective is to do what you can and build on it. You don't need to overdo anything. And when it comes to cardio is good for your lungs, for your in terms of running. Good for your lungs, exercising your diaphragm, but it doesn't have the overall impact on your health the way for longevity. So a little bit of cardio and strength building, resistance training is the ticket.
Got it. All right, so carbs. We all wonder about that, yeah.
I recently said to what actually was one of my instructors when I went to coaching school, health coaching school, and my feeling is that carbs, and don't take this literally, carbs are actually poison. So, and when I say that, when you eat carbs, your body finds every way it possibly can to get it out of your system, right? So it burns it off, it uses it, it stores it away from your system in general. And I think, for the most part, anything can be toxic if you consume too much of it, regardless.
Sure.
But I'm just focusing on carbs. Too much carbs is not good for anyone, for sustainability. Yes, we can eat carbs, but if you consume too much, then your body's going to try to find a way to store it. It'll store in some of us, we can see the storage because it's right there under our, under our skin. The weight packs on, our abdominal obesity is gains, but there are a number of us where that fat stores is around our organs, and we can't see it. And that's not good because that will impact us in the worst way. So just because you don't look fat from the outside, you may be fat on the inside. And those are carbs that happens because of stress and because of eating a diet that's not optimal for you, the individual.
This is concerning and alarming. Can't lie to you. Is it ever too late to turn back? To restart, to get back on track?
It's never too late, Steve. It's never too late, and every step towards the right direction is a positive step. So the thing is, like anything, it's taking the time to address, analyzing what's going on, partnering up with the appropriate practitioners so that you can make the steps in the right direction. And intermittent fasting is one thing that benefits that in some way. But recently, I did read an article about intermittent fasting that did concern me. I don't know if you've seen that at all.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it was something to the effect that people who followed, I'm trying to remember, the 16-8 fasting. So it's, I think you eat for 8 hours, you fast for 16. American Heart Association said you have a 91% higher risk of dying from cardiovascular disease.
Yes. So the American Heart Association, they worked with some group that did a 20,000 people research over the course of, on the average, it was 8 years. And it was a research that was just a number of people that they identified that were relatively healthy and that were intermittent fasting. and they basically, what it was emailed them, but they reached out to them. They did a survey once a year, evaluating what they ate over the course of the year, how much they fasted, and things of that nature. And the results of that research is what they presented to us. The thing about that research is that it's only observational. And how much, when you think about it, how many of those individuals truly recalled how and what they eat over the entire course of a year? What are the other things that could have impacted their health? Because the fact that they fasted, when you think about it, people have been fasting for centuries. You look at the Muslim community, the Christian community, all these religious fasting happens all the time.
Yep.
Maybe not as frequently as people who do the intermittent fasting, but it's been part of our civilization for the longest. So doing observational researches, those aren't good markers to go by. It should be randomized testing so that they can start so that if everyone's eating the same things, has the same pattern, then that's a good way to identify what really impacts people over a course of time. So there's got to be more to research than these randomized observational research. Observational research really don't tell us what's going on with us in general.
And last time we talked, I detect that you're a big fan of fasting and intermittent fasting, right?
Yes, I am.
And by the way, I told others since that conversation, I think the number was 12 days, 14 days was it 12 days that you fasted?
That was on one occasion.
Yeah. I'm like, I was shocked that I met somebody that did it for 4. and you come walking in with that.
Yeah. But I had a goal to meet when I fasted. So people in general, there's your regular daily fasting. And to me, I don't think there should be a pattern, like an established, like every day I'm doing 16-8. Make it happen naturally. Don't be concerned about the fact that you have to go and hang out with friends on a Friday night and it's going to break the pattern of what you've typically done. Just kind of go with it. If you're not feeling hungry, don't eat. And if you're eating the right foods, a nutrient-dense food, fasting will come naturally for you. So unless you have a particular goal that you're trying to achieve, you may not need to incorporate fasting in your regimen as a schedule. Other than that, let it happen organically.
Hey, that's a really good point, because many of us just eat because we think we're supposed to eat. And add to that, many of us are tired. And what do you do when you're tired? You eat.
Stuff your face.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think maybe it's evolutionary, but as I understand it, there's a chemical that gets released, and then right away you eat. How do we find you? How do we find you, Lorraine?
So you can find me on my website, lorrainecuff.com, on YouTube, CuffBiz. I have a YouTube channel, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I'm hanging out there, just loving to chat with people and hopefully help them improve their health.
Beautiful. Lorraine, by the way, spelled Lorraine, Cuff, Cuff, lorrainecuff.com. Great talking with you as always. Much love and enjoy your stay in Jamaica, and we'll catch up next time, okay?
Thank you, Steve. You take care.
You too. We'll be right back.